Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan battle video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at the Worldwide Terror Babidi and Majin Buu good LR. I don't know why they're good, because they're very clearly from when they were bad, but we all know that they don't use fat, I guess, for Buu, so they say good. Majin Buu Saga category lead after their easy A, key +4, HP attack and defense 150%. Raise the attacking defense for 1 turn on their 12 key, high chance of sealing and stunning, and on their 18 key, greatly raising, whilst high chance of stunning and stealing. Stunning and stealing, stunning and sealing, there we go. In terms of passive, key +5, attack and defense of 150%, with an additional attack and defense of 50% when performing a super, and launching an additional attack that has a high chance of becoming a super attack. They have a high chance of evading the enemy's attack, 50%, and they have an additional key +3, attack and defense of 50%, and launch an additional super attack when the target enemy is in attack down status, defense down, stunned, or sealed. They have an additional key +3, and all enemies will get -20% attack and defense for 4 turns after they evade an attack. They will also recover 10% HP at the end of the turn in which an attack was received. Now, in terms of a hidden potential system, I personally think that the best build for them is going to be crit. You can get some pretty beefy attack stats with them, especially in the mode you're probably going to use them in the most, ESBR. So they're going to do some huge attack stats. I think crit's best on them. I would go crit, additional, give yourself that chance at 4 supers in a turn against ESBR enemies. These guys will absolutely slaughter in ESBR. And yeah, I think that's really good. Evasion, they already have 50%. Adding on a whole another 20% evasion will give you like an effective evasion rate of like 60%. It's just not really worth it. In terms of links, Master Magic, Thirst for Conquest, Brutal Beatdown, Nightmare, Fear and Phase Shine, the limit legendary power are their links. And they're only on 5 categories: Inhuman Deeds, Joined Forces, Majin Buu Saga, Terrifying Conquerors, and Worldwide Chaos. Now these guys, honestly speaking, are pretty good. A big thing is whether you're going to be able to have the enemy attack down, defense down, sealed, or stunned. Now, if you can have one of those 4 requirements, then these guys become very good. Their total boost becomes very high, because what happens is the 50% on super kicks in after the 50% that kicks in from the attack down, defense down, etc. So what happens is you go from like 225, you go from 150% defense to like a 340% defensive increase and a 340% attack increase. And you can see that here. You can see very specifically here right now how high their attack stats are getting. They're hitting 14, 15 million with like 7 million follow-ups. That's not once-offs. If they're facing enemies who can meet their requirements, they will hit these regularly. It is just one of those things. The nice thing about them is they have 2 links as well that automatically debuff the enemy's defense. So if you're in Faith and Master of Magic both debuff the enemy's defense, it's pretty important. It basically allows you to activate their passive automatically. In the situations where they cannot get that 50% increase, you're going to see those stats drop right down. I'll show you one of those situations. We're going to put them in the red zone against the red Buu. Just because he cannot be debuffed, and you're going to see that their attack stats are going to drop, their defense is going to drop slightly, and yeah. Now after super, their defense is going to be pretty high. It'll be well above the 500-600k mark if they hit off all of their multiple super attacks. Obviously their attack stats looking great already. They really are more of a second slot kind of unit. The big thing is who they link with. So obviously they share a ton of links with the Babidi and Deborah. They share a decent ton of links with Frieza and Cooler, or Frieza and King Cold, with Cell and Frieza, like any kind of duo unit. The big thing is other Majin units they don't tend to share good links with, and you probably would want to run them on a Majin Buu Saga or Majin, like, yeah, evil extreme Majin Buu team. In that situation, you probably want to run them as a floater if you're not going to prioritize them. For things like SBR and ESBR though, you can just stick them next to the Babidi, the LR Babidi, the free-to-play one, and they just pop off. Like, they'll do so much damage, as you can see, that they'll just handle the event easily. Now in this situation here, they can't debuff the opposition, so straight away you can see the defense is lower. you're going to see the attack stats going to be lower. Everything about them is going to be lower. And that's because they're not proccing their attack and defense. And it is a very significant portion. Not that they are terrible against enemies who they cannot debuff. It's just that the difference between peak is very high. You know, at full 24 key, they could be hitting around 8 million. With a support over 8 million. 8 million attack stats with 4 mil follow-ups is not bad at all for a free-to-play LR. It's just incredible how high their peak is for ESPR. And that's the thing I kind of want to stress. I think they're good for a free-to-play unit. I think they're excellent for a free-to-play unit in a lot of situations. But the way they outperform, like even summonable units in an ESPR, SPR setting, is very impressive. This is probably one of the more impressive EZAs I've seen for an LR unit. And I genuinely think they are absolutely awesome for SPR and ESPR. Like, I've just been running them and a couple of them just to see how cool it is to have them incinerate like 2 guys and stun like 3 of them. It's just really, it's just crazy. It's just so cool. But yeah, obviously link focus wise, you know, the most common links are Thirst for Conquest and Fear and Faith. Outside of that, very Babidi centric link set, you know, Master of Magic, Nightmare, Sharing the Limit because they're free to play. So the link set's a bit wonky. Some really great linking partners, obviously the other Babidi centric characters, and then it falls off a little bit. So yeah, that's really honestly about it. To be honest, very good stuff. I really like them as a unit. I think they're awesome. I think it's a great free-to-play easy game. They made them super strong in one bit of content, like super strong. And I think that's a good way to go about it. Like, yes, they aren't going to do specific events or do them as well. But in a certain style of event, they're going to be awesome.